Hello and welcome to my walk around the lake on the morning of the 15th of August 2021. My first encounter was of a sleepy duck. Maybe it had been feasting in the lake all morning and now just needed to sleep it off. And that looks like a little coot swimming along there behind the duck. And this spider was just so tiny, it was about the size of my little fingernail. Next I spotted a pair of ducks and a Eurasian coot heading my way. The ducks are certainly active this morning. The next thing I spotted was another duck way up in the sky above Bird Island, and it was flying in my direction. And then it flew low right past me and headed towards the Forest Lake Boulevard end of the lake. And there it goes. There's 3 flying ducks in this picture. One of them's just landing. A little bit further along in my walk, I spotted 2 corellas up in a tree. And a dusky moorhen just wandering along beside the path. And a peewee was there in the grass. They're also named mudlarks or magpie larks, even though they're not related to magpies or larks. I prefer to call them peewees. And then on Bird Island there's a pelican, and it looks like an ibis above its head there. There's also dusky moorhens and coots, and that's a dusky moorhen having a little bath. And another one. There's all sorts of birds around here. That was near the little bridge where the dusky moorhen had a nest. It looks like today is the day of the duck. There's another one. A running willy wagtail, and here is the rear end of a willy wagtail. Now this pelican is about to do something that may cause some alarm, but don't worry, it's only stretching. It does not need to go to a vet. I've been trying to find out what this flower is called, but haven't had any luck so far. It's some sort of waterweed, and it is everywhere in the lake. Corellas were all on the ground around a small pool, which is part of the lake, but it's a part that I usually don't walk around. And then they all flew up into the trees. So I got lots of still photos of them. Much quieter when the photos are still. I've got lots of reasons for taking photos. I've been taking them for most of my life. I think the first photo I ever took was an accident, and I was 2 years old at the time. Mostly I've focused on photography as a way of providing myself with pictures to use as reference material when I do my paintings and drawings. And since I've started my lake walks, I've been planning a big oil painting of the lake with lots of birds in it. Not sure if I'll actually do it, but I'm still planning it. It should be fun if I do it. A lot of the photos I take of the trees and lake surrounds are taken with that possible future painting in mind. I first learned oil painting when I was 14 years old, so I've been doing it for a long time. although I haven't been doing it consistently. At the moment, I am focusing on getting used to using watercolours again, and my main ambition with them is to paint flowers, because I love painting flowers and photographing flowers. I have thousands of photos of wildflowers and roses. That's the egret on the other side of the lake. This is the only pictures we're going to see of the egret in this video. It just didn't come near me today. Another reason I take my photos around the lake is because I need the exercise, and if I'm just walking I probably wouldn't do it as often as I do, and I don't do it very often anyway, but having a camera in my hand gives me an added interest. So off I go, armed with my camera, and just snap away at anything that I see that interests me at the time. And then I've got material to do other things with, and one of the things I like to do is make videos for YouTube, and that is why you are able to be watching this video right now, and I thank you. I do hope you're enjoying it. I started making YouTube videos in a roundabout sort of a fashion. About 10 or 11 years ago, I used to regularly do art classes at the Brisbane Institute of Art in Windsor. And I heard the tutors there talking about this new print-on-demand company that had started up in Melbourne, and it sounded interesting. It was founded at the time by a barrister and his friend as a way to provide artists with a platform for getting exposure to the public and maybe even selling some of their artwork online. That swan's getting out of the picture, but I could hear a whoomp, 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 and I thought something's going to happen, and look what happened. A pelican flew past. At that stage, when I first heard about this print-on-demand company, I'd never even heard of print-on-demand actually when I heard the tutors talking about it, but I did have hundreds of photos that I was doing nothing with. So I thought about it for about a year, and eventually I decided that I would try and go through my photos and pick out the best ones and put them up and see what happens. I was working full-time at that stage, and I'd been in a few exhibitions, but I found the exhibitions are very expensive to hold, and you need to sell enough work to cover costs. I was fortunate that I had always sold enough to cover my costs of being in the exhibition, but there wasn't any money left over after that, so I wasn't really keen on continuing to exhibit that way, and I thought being in this print and demand online would be an inexpensive way for me to have my art out there, and maybe I'd sell a bit occasionally, and I did. My cousin used to love buying greeting cards. She said that it was so convenient to sit at home and pick the cards out, and then they'd turn up in her letterbox in a few days, and she thought they were great quality, so she's been a regular customer of mine. Not that she buys them every year, but she does buy them occasionally, which is really good. Then other people started buying stickers, and I've since sold thousands of stickers, mostly to people in the United States, but many of them are in Europe and anywhere in the world actually. It's been a great geography lesson for me. Whenever something sells to a country I've never heard of, I look it up. fascinating. When I started with Redbubble, it was stickers, t-shirts, wall art and phone cases. But now there's 85 different products. I've recently released baseball caps and mouse pads. I've sold quite a lot of t-shirts over the years and blankets and phone cases, but sales are very thin. It got quite good for a few years, but after Redbubble went public on the stock exchange, everything changed and my sales have dropped, and they're continuing to become almost non-existent. So I'm looking for other ways of getting my art out there at the moment, and this YouTube channel is part of my plan for my artistic future, because although I'm just doing vlogs at the moment with birds and walks and flowers and things, I also have gone around New Farm Park. I'm planning to start doing videos of me painting watercolours and oils and posting them on this channel. So that's my plan for the future, and hopefully I'll end up with a lot of subscribers. And occasionally I've just started putting some of my bird photos up onto Redbubble. So whenever the type of creature that I've put on Redbubble comes up, I'll add a photo of that bird or lizard or whatever on one of my Redbubble products, so you can see how I'm using the photos from my videos. I don't pay for advertising for my Redbubble shops, because as soon as anybody reaches their website, Redbubble will say, oh, that's the sort of art you like. Oh, look, we've got lots of other artists that do similar work. Maybe you'll like something of theirs better. And then they get taken off all around the site, and they can never get back to my shop. So I don't pay for advertising. And there's a photo of a cap coming up right now. It's of the Australian water drake, and there it is. That's the new baseball cap. And I'll put a link in the description if you want to have a closer look at it. Of course, Redbubble will try to lure you away, so just enjoy yourself and have a look around as much as you like. They're not quite so aggressive these days as they used to be. There are lots of flying pelicans today. I was doing some pelican studies for my proposed painting, and I ended up putting a few of the pelican photos up on Redbubble as stickers. I thought about making YouTube videos for about 18 months after Redbubble sent a message around to everybody suggesting that we promote our Redbubble stores by making YouTube videos. When I first read that note, I laughed because I didn't even watch YouTube, let alone make YouTube videos. But I thought about it for a couple of years or 18 months, and then I decided to start making videos for the computer game I play. That's The Sims 3, and I've done that for about 3 years now, and I've been watching art videos with people painting and doing videos as they paint, and I thought, I could do that, that's what I want to do. So here I am, I'm getting there. And since I'm using some of my bird photos on Redbubble, I thought I should talk about that here as well. Sometimes I just sit on a seat and enjoy the calm of the birds, and you can hear the water flowing in this one. I'm quite close to that little dam that you see photos of occasionally. It's like a little weir. The water comes in from the left. It goes as pipes on the other side of the road, and I think it just circulates, gets pumped back out there, keeps the water turning over in the lake so it doesn't go too stagnant. It's a man-made lake, so people have to maintain it. There's a lot of work going on at the lake at the moment. They're going to be dredging it in a couple of weeks. Not all of it, just in places, because the silt has built up and it's got very shallow in places. But there's some very deep spots in it as well, and there's some huge fish in there. That's why the pelicans are around, probably. They've been gradually emptying it for the last few months. As you can see, it's quite a distance now between the top of the water and the ground. When I was first walking around, the water level was almost up to that concrete barrier that goes around, and it's dropped quite a way already. You can see how far it's dropped by looking at that edge around the lake. And it's going to go down quite a bit further before they're able to start dredging. They've already been removing water weeds with a machine, and the other day when I walked, they had people near the weir where there were huge trucks and lots of men working clearing pipes. I've started walking along again now, and I'm keeping an eye on that pelican. They swim very fast. Of course, when I say that they are emptying the lake, they're not actually really emptying it completely. They're just dropping the water level enough so they can dredge in the areas that have got very shallow and that need to be dredged to keep the lake healthy and as a good environment for all the wildlife that are living in it. And they're dropping the water level so slowly so as not to disturb the birds and fish too much. I'm sitting on another seat now, right near that darter. And this is where it shouted out so loud. And you've heard of the term a voice box. Well, that thing, I saw it calling, and I wasn't able to get the camera onto it quickly enough to get a photo. But I'll describe for you what I saw. That long, narrow beak that it uses to spear fish with. When it joins onto the bird's head, as it's calling, it balloons out dramatically, and it looks just like a square box hanging down under its beak. It's quite amazing, really. Wish I'd got a photo of it. One day I might try to draw it from memory and see what happens and show it to you. But there's going to be some fun and games here shortly with the darter. Well, it didn't actually get involved too much. It was more about the little pied cormorant and a swamp hen and a peewee turned up and was involved as well. But this darter's sitting here relaxing, drying its wings at the moment. I used to think they were cormorants, but they're not, they're darters. When they swim along, the darters, when they swim, you just see that long skinny neck and head sticking out of the water, and the rest of the bird is under the surface. There's the little pied cormorant. Yes, and I've used a photo from an earlier video to do some designs on Redbubble. The link to them will be in the description if you want to have a look. I've got that circle on all of the products, all 85 products that are available at the moment. T-shirts and bags and all sorts of things. Now that cormorant, little pied cormorant, is quite enjoying that rock. Relaxed sitting in there, and I'm sitting on my seat enjoying the scenery. Maybe I'm standing on the seat, that could be the seat there with that green right in front. It's all so peaceful. That little pied cormorant looks like he's set in there for the afternoon. Just needs to dry off after a busy morning hunting for his food. It's years since I've used watercolours, and I don't have very many tubes of paint at the moment, but I had a go at painting the little pied cormorant. I think he's one of my favourite birds on the lake, And I put the painting up into my Redbubble shop, and that picture is of it on a magnet. I think it's available on most products. It's my first painting of a bird for quite a while. I do have lots of drawings with colouring in pencils of galahs and parrots and things that are in that same shop, but they were from years ago. Everything was so peaceful. Just out of the camera's range there on the left in the grass, we've got a swamp hen pecking around looking for things to eat. And the little pied cormorant is relaxed and preening and drying off, and the peewee just walked from behind the rock. So I thought I'd go and see what the darter was up to. And as soon as I looked away, there was a huge commotion, and the swamp hen had bullied the little pied cormorant to get off the rock. So it flew all the way across the lake. Goodbye, little cormorant. Of course, the swamp hen wasn't interested in the rock for itself, so the peewee got the rock, and the swamp hen just kept on a-walking. It was quite exciting for a minute or two, but then it all settled down again. Yeah, that thing looked like a little lump of wood there, didn't it? But it was actually the darter. It was having a bit of a scratch. Time to move on. Some little flowers, little weeds growing along the water's edge. I'm sure they provide nutrition for something. Now, this is the little pied cormorant again. I got a tiny bit of video of it diving. In another episode, I got quite a lot of video of it diving. So, as I didn't get very much, that was all I could get on this go, because it just vanished. It stays under for such a long time, it's very hard to work out where it's going to come up again. And there's a willy wagtail. I'm getting to the end of the video. I do hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please give it a like. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed and you'd like to see more of what I do. I've got photos and videos recorded for a few more walks that I haven't posted yet. I'll get onto them shortly. So if you'd like to not miss out on them, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to make sure you get notified. So bye bye for now, and I'll see you in the next video.